Welcome to Scouting Fatwood Stump Adventures, and this is episode 29, part 1. And I just completed uh, episode 28, the three-part series, and I'm very thankful that's over with. That was quite a challenge, digging up that root system. Okay, folks, while hiking out in the woods, on my hiking adventures, I came across this beautiful dead pine tree. It is about 15, 20 feet tall. It is completely dead and rotted, but it's still standing, and it's on a slant. I believe a strong wind will topple this tree, so I have to be extremely careful while harvesting some fatwood from this dead tree. So what I'm going to do, I'm in the middle of nowhere, but you can see all around me, off the beaten path, folks, off the beaten path. And I'm not far from a highway, but I just want to show you everything that's behind me. And there's a big river in that direction I'm pointing to with lots of snakes, because this is the south. Now I want you to join me, folks, on the Scouting Fatwood Stump Adventures, and I'm going to harvest this tree right behind me. So I'm going to turn this camera around, and I'm going to give you a better view of what I'm going to be harvesting today. So I'm not worried about the weather today. It's a beautiful day. I'm in the shade, so stay with me, folks, on Scouting Fatwood Stump Adventures, episode 29, part 1. Here we are, and this is the tree. And I want to show you that. And that is definitely pine bark. And you can see these little wings sticking out right here. I'll go around them. You can see the how it goes out. So this is it, folks. This is what we're going to be doing today, and I'm going to be harvesting. And I don't know, this looks like pine also, folks. Folks, I just discovered this also. That is pine. Definitely, I'm going to be harvesting some of the branches off this also, carefully. And I also will be sharing with you what this is going to look like when I take my saw and cut into these little branches and knots. That's a knot right there, folks. There's another one coming down the line. There's another one right there, and this huge one right there, tall one. We're going to harvest some of this here, and there's another one hidden behind that. There's another one right there. I just wanted to share that with you. I want to show you some other pine knots here. This is a great find, and I'm going to share this with you today. This is part of my Scouting Fatwood Stump Adventure series. Looking for fatwood, scouting for fatwood. I'm going to get back. I'm going to set the cameras up, folks, and I'll get right back to you. We're going to start harvesting those knots and branches off of the small dead fallen pine trunk. Look at that view, folks, right down that tube. This is a fallen dead oak tree, and you can see that. Look how beautiful that is. And like I said, I'm off the beaten path, folks. There's no trails leading in here, and I just kind of blindly walked through until I came across this beautiful patch of woods, and I am under a canopy of all of these leaves, and you can see that there's no path leading to this little isolated patch of woods. Not far from the highway, but I'm okay, and that's even good for me. In case I get in trouble, I know I can always get to that highway and signal for help. Okay, here we are. I'm set up with the cameras, and we're going to start rolling. What I'm going to do first, folks, I'm going to work my way from this end to the opposite end behind me. And this is the biggest and longest piece that I know. And this is very old wood, you could see. I'm just going to clean it up just a little bit. And that's the core. That is the core, folks, right there. So I just want to chop some of this away and get to the solid wood, the core part of this dead fallen piece of pine trunk. You can hear that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take my saw, and I'm going to cut this piece first, right here, all the way down. Let me see how much we could get this cleaned up. Okay, here we are. Let's get this show on the road. This is all of that. I'm going to have to just chop some of this down right there. There we are. Look at that. That little piece of gold right there, folks. Here we are. Piece of gold. I'm just keep that on, put that on the side. Now we're going to start cutting right here, folks. Here we are. All right. And I can see that color of that Maya dust. It's a golden, beautiful golden color. And it's been raining, folks. We had a lot of rain, so this wood is wet. And it's going to make it a little difficult to cut into. And I'm almost through anyway. A little more. Like I always say, I'm using my trusty old Baco lamp. My old trusty Baco Laplander hand saw made in Sweden, folks. There we are. And I can see that color. And I want to share that with you. There we are. Now, if that's not a beautiful piece of fatwood, I don't know what is. Show this camera also. Look at that, folks. That is beautiful. Okay, before I even clean this up, I'm just going to cut some more of these knots and branches right off of this log. And that's the Maya dust, folks. Look at that. Beautiful Maya dust. Look at that. Okay, this one's next. So I'm going to take my hatchet. I want to clean this up. So I got to reposition my canvas. Okay, folks, here's the next piece, and this is a beautiful piece of wood right here. Solid wood, folks. Okay, here we are. That's it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start cutting right here. This is very wet wood. It's going to be a little hard to cut through, but I will get it. It's not the first time I'm cutting wood, wet wood. I already found a location to harvest fatwood from. No need to explore the woods anymore. This is a beautiful, this is one beautiful heavy piece, folks. Look at that. That is pure fatwood. Look at that. And look at this. This is part of the knot right here. All of that you see is part of the knot going out to the branch. All of these grooves. That's the indication that's part of a knot system coming out of the tree. Because most of the wood around this trunk rotted away to the core. And this is what's left right here. The solid wood is the core. It once had wood going all the way around it. And it didn't have any fatwood in it. So once it died, it rotted. And it rotted straight to the core. Second piece, folks. Look at that. Okay, we're going to be moving right down the line. And give me 1 second to reposition these cameras so we can keep recording. Okay, folks, we're back, and let me clean this up a little bit. Get all that loose wood off of here. Show you. This is a lot of punky wood too. It's spongy. This is punk wood right here, folks. Very spongy. You could make chard with this charred punk and put it in a little tin as fire starter. That's to use as a fire starter, folks. Punk wood right here. All this is rubbery. I mean, it's like a spongy. Okay, back to what we're doing here, folks. Let me clean this up a little bit, and I'm going to cut this one next. And this is solid wood, folks. That is so awesome. It didn't take long to find the tree, and that made my day, and I'm under the shade. This is so beautiful. This whole area is going to be totally in the shade, even at noon, and that's great. That's good news for me. Let me cut this piece out. just show you that little piece that I'm going to be cutting into. Look how saturated that is. That is a beautiful little piece of fatwood right there. Okay, folks, we're going to get on to cutting this now. That's solid. You can hear that. That's solid wood, folks. Okay, here we are. We're going to start cutting it right in here. Right here should do. Like I said, it rained, and this wood is wet. It won't take long to get cutting through this. Wow, that's not easy, folks. That is not easy. Just gonna let that blade do the cutting. Look at that. Wow. Folks, I struck gold today. It's not as hard as the previous video, digging up the root system. This is a dead fallen part of a pine tree, and these are all the knots with the branches. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. And that's an indication of knots. Right there, that was in the tree all the way up to this point, and all of that wood rotted until all the wood around us rotted to this point. And this right here is a branch that connects to the knot that's inside of the tree, that's connected to the core. Look at that. This is a heavy piece of wood. Show you that. That's a beautiful piece of fatwood, folks. And this is how you scout for fatwood. Walking in the woods, you got to have a trained eye, and you even have to test the tree. Cut into it, smell it, look at it. There are different signs that tells you that this is fatwood. Aged pine resin wood. Okay, here we are. Okay, folks, here we are. Look at that. Beautiful. This is a smaller one, but look at that. And these are the telltale signs of the knot that leads to the branch. You see all the smooth wood coming out of it, and that is at the point that the knot ends and the branch comes out of it. That's it right there, folks. Okay, here we are. It's getting warm, but I'm still in the shade, almost 100% in the shade. Okay, folks, here we are. And what I'm going to do, cut the small one here. There you have it, folks. Beautiful resin pine wood. One solid piece of wood there. Look at the color. Wow. pure fatwood, folks. This is a beautiful, blessed harvest of fatwood. Didn't take long. Off the beaten path in the woods, not far from the highway. And this is how blessed I am to come across wood like this. There's a lot of dead wood out here. A lot of dead pine trees, folks. Just got to take your time, hike through the woods until you come across one. Well, especially where I am, south. Look how beautiful that wood is. Look at that. Knot, branch. Say it again. The knot at this point, branch. That's what it is. Look at that. Beautiful pieces of fatwood. I'm going to clean some of this up. I may not clean it all. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a burn for you. Wow. When you're outside and in the heat takes its toll on you eventually, folks. That's why it's careful. You got to be careful out here. Whatever your passion is, do it responsibly. That's it. That is it. We are done. Now I'm gonna set up shop and start cleaning up. Wow. Whew. Here we are. That's beautiful fatwood there, folks. Wow, look at that. This is what I harvest today, folks, and this is all raw pieces of fatwood that's gonna have to be processed, cleaned up. Look at that. You can see the whole thing right here. Look at that. That's the knot. And that's the branch. Just to give you an idea. Not the branch that comes out of it. Up to this point, it was covered by the wood around the tree. And it all rotted away and left the knot exposed with this branch that has fatwood in it, pine resin. And that's some serious pine resin there, folks. That is serious pine resin. So this is my harvest. I just want to show it to you. Then I'm going to set up shop on the side where all my gear is. And we're going to start cleaning some of this up. That's it right there, folks. I am under a nature's canopy. That is so cool. I have nothing but palm trees. Look at that. All of that. Beautiful canopy of nature. Keeping me out of the sun at this hour. I love it. There's always going to be work involved when you're harvesting fatwood. And it all depends on your tolerance level and how far you want to go and how much you want to harvest and carry out of the woods. Just remember, you can always come back to get more. Okay, so what I'm going to do is shut this camera down, and I'm going to carry all this wood over there and start processing some of this wood. Stay with me. Look at that, just like peeled right off. This is part of the knot. Look at the texture. Look at that. How beautiful that wood is. Look at the way the sun is coming right through that piece. Here it is, folks. Look at that. Look at that fatwood, that knot and branch. This is incredible. This is an incredible piece of wood here, folks. I'm going to get my knife and see if I can cut right down the middle of this. Okay, I have two pieces that I cleaned up. What I want to do, I'm going to get my knife and I'm going to take some shavings and I'm going to put it right between this wood right here. I'm going to make a fire right here, folks, for you and show you the power of the burn. Welcome back. What I'm going to do, I'm going to try to cut down. This is a knot. This is heavy duty. This is 3-4 pounds. Just one piece, folks. And I want to cut it down the middle. Cut it down and cut it in a few slices, and then I can take some shavings from it because it's going to be kind of hard to shave from the outside of this. So I'm going to take, like I always do, steel on steel. That's a pretty thick spine. This is supposed to be a survival knife, but this is a budget blade, so if it breaks, I'm not going to cry. But this is solid wood, folks. This is such a beautiful piece of fat wood. There we are. Okay, I can see that whole thing. I want to show you the wood. Look at that. Look how beautiful this wood is. And I just cut that one right in half. There's not a lot of splinters in this wood. This is not fibrous wood. This is more, it's just solid. What can I tell you? It smells so good. Wow, look at that, folks. That is a beautiful piece of wood. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep cutting it down. Then I'm going to take some shavings and do a burn for you. Look at that. Now this slices right down, totally different than that root system from my previous video. Look at that. It just pops off. It just pops off. Look at that. This is not fibrous wood. This is from the knot. Part of the knot in the branch. That's the different parts of the tree that I try to explain and demonstrate to you when you're harvesting. And that fibrous wood is a strength, very strong wood that keeps that tree from just snapping. Because if it falls over, you'll see all. If you ever seen a fallen tree, how it all splintered, that's that fibrous wood. This is not really fibrous wood here. This is just solid resin pine wood. Okay, there we are. I'm getting close. I'm going to use this piece to demonstrate and light a fire. So let me just finish cutting into this here, folks. A couple more pieces here. This is beautiful wood. Absolutely beautiful fat wood. Look at this. See how that just cuts down? And this does not have all the splinters like the root system that I cut into in my previous video. Look at that. It just pops off. It just snaps off. Pure resin, folks. Pure resin fat wood. Welcome back, and here we are. That is just one branch and knot that I just processed. I cut up. Now on the inside I can take the shavings. Like from this one, I can just take the shavings with my knife and give you a demonstration. The power of the burn. Look at this premium fat wood. That's just one piece. Okay, folks, we're back, and I found a beautiful piece of pine wood bark as a base. So I'm going to lay right here. I'm going to lay it right there, and I'm going to put the shavings on that. So I'm going to get the gloves back on, and I'm going to demonstrate the power of the burn to show you the quality of this fat wood and how easy this thing can go up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start making shavings. Look at that, just like wax, folks. Look at that. That's beautiful, folks. That is some beautiful fine shavings. Look at that. If you could only smell that. Such beautiful, beautiful fine shavings. That smells so good, folks. Gotta get that little piece out. Okay. And this is freshly cut fat wood, folks. Freshly cut from the dead fallen pine log. From the dead fallen pine trunk. And that's the most important thing too. When you're out there, you can do it in the backyard or whatever, but when you get out in the woods, that's a real test, because you're going to be under pressure. You're going to have a lot of stress involved, because you're going to be out there in the elements, and your life may depend on getting a fire lit, and you may be racing against time to do it. So it's good to practice and balance yourself. It's all about balance, folks. I have my ferrocerin rod, folks, right here, and I'm going to get this lit. Here we are, and that's the power to burn, folks. Just to show you, this is on top of a pine wood piece of bark, and that's it. The power of the burn. Make sure I have nothing else catching. So this is how you do it, folks. You get some fine shavings with some curl shavings. And this to show you how fast this thing can light up when you put this in the fire. Watch this piece. There we are. You can see that the way it burns. That oil, it's sizzling. And this gives you enough time to get a fire started, because with that resin that's in that wood, it doesn't go out right away. You can see that. There it is, folks. And you're just gonna let that just burn itself out. There we are, like a torch. You can see the resin. That is one beautiful sight, folks. The power of the burn, the power of fatwood. And you can see that black smoke. You know, that's that pine resin, that's that terpene burning, which is flammable. And you can see it's still lighting, folks. So like more than what, a minute? If you can't get a fire with all that borrowed time, don't go out until you practice, because your life may depend on it. This thing is still burning. Look at that. If I put it upside down, it's only going to go straight up. And it's going to catch even more. And this is the power of the burn, folks. This is going to conclude my video. Scouting Fatwood Stump Adventures, episode 29, part 1. Okay, folks. Until then, be safe.